Okay, welcome back. So I'm gonna name today Invoke to Evoke. And what do these two words mean? Because they're quite unusual. You don't hear people talking about invocation or evocation in common ordinary everyday speech. So basically, what is an invocation? Well, you say you are invoking something when you are asking for its help or for its intervention, intercession in helping you achieve some sort of goal you have. For example, you can invoke God to help you with some things that you want. For example, you can invoke God to help you with fortune, to help you with peace of mind or with healing for you or for another person that you love. So you are trying to call him in to aid you in something. That's invocation. Now, its opposite is evocation. To evoke something means to hear some words or hear a metaphor or something that instead of bringing in from somewhere else, brings about from inside something that is already inside of you. When you say that a story evokes higher states of consciousness or invokes heroic qualities in you, then you're saying that the story you're hearing speaks directly to some basic part of you, and that it stirs something deep inside that you don't necessarily have conscious knowledge of, but that you can feel bubbling in there, and rising up from within. That's an evocation. So when you invoke something, you call on the aid of somebody from without to help you with a project. But when you evoke something, you mention something that is already within you, and you then express it through your actions after the evocation. Okay? So when you're asking somebody for help, or when you're asking a supernatural entity for help, you are invoking it, calling its power within you. But when something evokes something out of you, you recognize that that power is already within you. That which you hear, that which is evoked, is already within you. You are the power you've been waiting for. And then you go out and put that power into the world by what? By your actions. And by your actions, you shall get your results. So for example, if I tell you you are a wonderful human being full of potential to heal others, this would evoke something in you. This speaks about something that is already within you. Okay? So if some words or some pictures or let's say some music you heard, there's something deep inside you that you have no conscious knowledge of, but that you feel is there and maybe has always been there, and only now you are being made conscious of it, then that is evocation, and that reminds you that you're more special and you're more powerful than you thought you were. And when you invoke something in, the wonderful thing that happens is that while invoking that specific supernatural entity, that specifically reminds you that you also are made of the same stuff it is, and then those qualities bubble up and stir up from inside you, and you recognize that you indeed share the same qualities, maybe not in the same measure, but you do share the same qualities of the entity you are invoking. Let's say you're invoking maybe Archangel Michael. Well, what are the defining characteristics of Archangel Michael? Archangel Michael is a very manly figure with emphasis on law and order and protection. He always does the right stuff, and his presence is felt like being very, very warm, and powerful. And he's not subtle, not at all. He's very to the point, he's very direct, and those qualities are also inside you. Those are the qualities of what Carl Jung calls an archetypal pattern, and that is the pattern of the warrior. And the warrior is stern, he's resolute, he's logical, and he's not afraid to sever unhealthy ties. And also Archangel Michael is not afraid to sever unhealthy ties. And those qualities are within you. You may be largely unconscious of them. They may be in their shadow form inside you and manifesting through your actions. In which case, you won't necessarily think of yourself as being very resolute and very calm and very straightforward. You may think of yourself as being a pushover, if those qualities are lacking in you, or you may be over pushing it and over pushing your will onto other people, but that is just that archetypal pattern that's residing in you. It's evoked through you, and when you hear the stories of other people, because this is what I mostly wanted to talk about. When you hear stories of other people, of how they live their life, of how they think life is supposed to be, those can only evoke something that is already inside you. I think that deep down, all the potential qualities are there in every single human being. But what I also think is that every particular human being has certain qualities that are more well developed than others, and some other qualities are not qualities at all because they've been so pushed down that now they're in their shadow aspect. And in their shadow aspect, you actually exhibit the counter quality, or what you may call, although it's not the flaw, instead of being very direct and very stern and stuff like that, you may be a pushover, and other people may impose their will upon you. But still, when listening to other people, if they have a certain quality of consciousness about them, when you hear their stories, you will also discover that what they're talking about indeed is inside you. And you may look at them like, oh my god, you are so good, you know a lot of stuff, and you're such a wonderful person. But realize that in doing this, you are also recognizing your own magnificence, because you too possess those qualities. Those qualities are evoked in you. So if those qualities exist and you also possess them, although maybe in a less degree than the person exhibiting them, then you are by no means of lower value than the one who's talking to you about them. So if somebody says to you, you're a wonderful person and you can do lots of stuff that you now think you can't, okay, you may thank them, but don't put them on a pedestal, because that's not where they want to be. They recognize your own greatness, they recognize their own greatness, but they want to tell you that you, even though you need more action, even though you need more practice, even though you need to hone those skills, and that can be only done through practice, what they really want to tell you is that the same things they're doing, you can do, and you can do more of. So if you happen to value somebody who's older than you, if you happen to value somebody who seems more wise or more experienced than you, recognize that you're valuing yourself because you also possess those qualities. And be glad, because if you're younger, you have all those years in front of you where you can attain that level of mastery and even more. Now go out into the world and recognize your own value and evoke value in others. I'll see you again next time.